Hello and welcome to the Every Other Saturday podcast for episode 40 of our weekly podcast series here on YouTube and Spotify. I see Lewis is decked out in his Champions merch 55. Is that a flag, a scarf, a hat and everything? Definitely been to the Rangers store after they've opened last week, I can tell you that. But we're here today with quite a good episode for you. We'll look at the Old Firm, recap the game again. We'll look at 3 years of Steven Gerrard being a manager. We'll look at some transfer rumours, obviously, with a new signing today, and we'll give our opinion on who should be included in the SPFL team of the season. It's not just for Rangers, all clubs included. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned and we'll give yours. And as always, if you're listening on Spotify, share it about. If you're listening on YouTube, watch on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and follow the socials. So going into this one then, Old Firm game. Obviously, the weekend, just the performance everybody was looking for. A massive result against Celtic for the first time in a long time. It's been coming the full season. How do you reflect and react since we've done our reaction a few days ago?
Well, first off, mate, I have been to the store and I thought I'd deck myself out. Thought I'd treat myself to a nice wee
Aye, looks good.
hat. My boy Calvin Bassey, got to represent. But I know definitely, mate. As I say, it was a fantastic result. Sort of just get the cup disappointments out of the way, and a massive result, man. And obviously on the last dance, Jack. Not for a player that's on the level of Michael Jordan. He got himself a wee Meg and he got sent home with a wee bit of Lego souvenirs. So, it was a good result, mate. Positive result. I'm happy, man.
Yeah, very happy, and I think the whole vibe about the club's just completely changed after last week. Obviously, when we spoke on the podcast, it was a bit negative towards the team and stuff like that. But now that that's out the way, we've got a massive victory against Celtic. It's obviously going to pick up the mood, and the mood of the place is great at the moment. Obviously, only a couple of weeks away for Trophy Day and stuff like that, so excitement's building. But the game at the weekend was great. A lot of great performances throughout the squad. Like Defoe, when he came on, I thought Ryan Kent was sensational. And I've got a wee question for you after I talk about this part of it. But I thought he was sensational. Morelos was great. Roof showing why we signed him for a performance like that. Goldson again, just sensational. And I think just natural order's been restored. We were due that kind of performance. Although we've outperformed Celtic pretty much in every Old Firm game this season, you could say they've had parts in the game where they've been better than us, but we've largely outperformed them in every game this season. This was just the one we needed to just put them to bed. Hundreds of goals, just great play. Didn't stand a chance really. And my question for you after that, obviously, is Ryan Kent. He's again grown a lot of hype for your second team there, Leeds. He's grown a lot of hype. Should he be featured in England squads is the question coming up again. Personally, I don't know. He's still at that age where he's like 24. He's got time. Maybe a move to the Premier League eventually will get him in there. But you look at the quality England have, but then you look at the kind of performance he puts in at the weekend. Like, it's just where do you see next for Ryan Kent? Do you see him eventually bring into that squad?
First off, I don't see him going to Leeds, to be honest with you, because we've got Champions League football, so why is he going to leave? And we're on such a momentum at the moment where, next season I feel like we'll be favourites for the title again. And hopefully he's going to have some medals up here before he does depart and he eventually goes down south. In terms of getting in the England squad, mate, it's difficult, as you say, with people like Sancho, Phil Foden, Grealish. Like there's so many. I'd have him, I'd have Goldson, and I'd have Tav at least getting a look in, getting a call up. I think out of all three of them, personally, someone that for me that deserves it the most would probably be somebody like Connor Goldson for me. I think for the same as you, he's player of the season. But I would definitely say he deserves a look in, at least. How old is he again, Ryan Kent? What is he, about 21, 20?
He's 24 now, Ryan Kent. He signed with us when he was 22, 21, I'm sure. That was on loan for the first season, and he came obviously 2019 he signed with us, so he's 24. His birthday's a day after mine, actually, as I was looking up stats about him this morning. So 24 years old. He still get, if you think about it, another year at Rangers. He's 25, and then maybe he can explore something that he wants to do with the rest of his career, because he's still at a young age. He came into his prime, and if you look at performances like the weekend's one, he's just going to be some player when he gets to the age. So definitely one that's excited me again, with Ryan Kent being playing so good. Goldson as well, obviously, just a rock at the back. to be featured, and that has also come up again with the England squads and that. But just wanted to get your opinion on that. I feel like he could be, but I think it's going to be like he needs to move to the Premier League first and show himself over there before he really gets included, which is a shame. But the Old Firm, just as a recap, to recap it off, it was a great result. And one I'll look back on. We watched the highlights for a few days now already, at least 3 or 4 times a day. And Morelos owns Scott Brown now, so it's happy days. But we move on for that. I didn't actually realise this until this morning, but 3 years, Steven Gerrard came to the club 3 years ago, the day 2018. I remember my excitement surrounding that whole situation. I mean, we'd just been beat 5-0 off Celtic at Celtic Park under Murray. It was looking doom and gloom. You're like, who's going to actually come in and solve this mess for us? Steven Gerrard walks in. I feel it just get everybody buzzing. And so right to be. Like, obviously, we've talked about the same situation a lot, but legendary player, one of the best midfielders of his generation, coming to Rangers. We know really any managerial pedigree, and he's won his 55th title. He's consistently improved us every single year. And he's made some great players. He's brung through Patterson. He's made Morelos into a better player. He's brung Kent in, Kamara, Aribo, Goldson, all these players that we now look and admire. Steven Gerrard done that for us in 3 years. How do you reflect on that?
Massive 3 years, mate. We all know that. I remember, as I say all the time, like I remember at the time when we were laughed at, to be honest with you. If you can't, I remember it was like he was drawn or something at the under whatever age he was managing at Liverpool, and people were saying, well, if he can't do it at that level, how's he going to do it at this level? And all stupid arguments really when you think about it. But just massive. He's brought that energy back to the club, isn't he? You know what I mean? He's that special feelings back at Ibrox, and especially at European nights. And as you say with the players like Morelos, so much more disciplined and more a team player kind of player now. That's what I'm on about. Like, just with that overall, mate, as you're saying, he's improved players and he's brought players in that have just transformed. Like Ryan Kent, man. Like, we all love Ryan Kent. We all Celtic fans, you know what I mean? As much as they'll hang with, they fear him. I don't care what they say.
Terrorised him every time.
You know what I mean? Even like, say, Tav as well. He's improved players who were already at the club. He's got rid of the ones that maybe we had a little soft spot for. I know I had a soft spot for somebody like Daniel Candace, but he moved them on because he felt that was the right idea. So for me, I just full on trust him. 55th title, you know what I mean? It's just something special. And if we do it unbeaten, man, that's legendary stuff, as we say. So just massive, man. I don't think words could describe what he's done for the club, man. It's just sensational, really.
Nah, as I say, like, you can't describe really in a couple of minutes what he's done for the club. He's brung that sort of that the Rangers we all know and love back. In an instance, like, as I say, 3 years to the day, we were getting pumped 5-0 off Celtic. Now, flip side, we are 23 points clear, won the league 2 months ago, and we're beating Celtic 4-1. So that is improvement. Like, that is major improvement. We were apparently nowhere near Celtic. We were going to need 100 million to be able to stop them, but it's really not took that at all. It's took a good manager to come in with a good attitude, get rid of the duds, bring in his own style of play. Couple of years maybe it was tough to get through. It was disappointing, but it was all worth it for this season, and just hopefully we get through the end of it unbeaten. And he's transformed us European level as well.
Just the people he brought in, like people like Gary McAllister who've got experience, Michael Beale and all that, like the people he's brought in as well have been massive. And recruitment, as you say, obviously at the start we knew it was a progress. We knew it was actually one we could follow and believe in, compared to other clubs down in England that going about progresses. But like, I honestly think about special goals, and I'm still thinking to myself, only if the ball was passed to Andy Halliday, do you know what I mean? He could have had his European goal, but it's all right, Morelos does the business. But no, I just think there was still some special things. Obviously, there's been ups and downs we could think of, but at the end of the day, it's all been worth it for this title. And if we can do it unbeaten, that's massive. And hopefully going forth, there's more trophies and more success and good runs in Europe at the Champions League, Jack. Get that music back at Ibrox.
No. I know. Hopefully we're in the stadium for that and all. That'd be great. But he's won as our biggest probably league title we'll ever see. I would say as well. Steven Gerrard, he will always be etched in Rangers history now just because of that. And I'm just chuffed. I'm chuffed that he's been able to do that. Obviously, I'm a Liverpool fan as well. So it was big for me, obviously, growing up watching Gerrard and stuff like that, playing with Liverpool, for him to then become manager of Rangers, just different sort of love for Steven Gerrard nowadays. And hopefully he's here for many more years. I also have a few questions for you. What is your favourite memories of Steven Gerrard's tenure so far? Obviously, the top of the list is going to be winning his 55, but any personal sort of things for you that you've enjoyed so far?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's celebrations at Celtic Park, mate. I've got to say, do you know what I mean? That passion pouring out for him, definitely up there. And I think obviously the European nights as well. But I don't know, just when he first signed, mate, you could tell like you could tell he was up for it. You could tell, do you know what I mean? You know, with Gerrard I mean, when as a player, like when he's up for it, but you can tell when he's made that special connection with the club. I feel like where he now residents. I would say he's also a fan now. Like whatever happens, obviously going forth, how much trophies we win or what have you, I do believe it will always have an eye on the club, and he'll always talk highly about the club. And I think if anyone asked him, listen, if I could go up there, you know, like young players at Liverpool maybe or what have you, like I definitely feel like he would be wanting to say go, because just look at the special thing that he's done for us, the way he's turned the club around. As I say, mate, there's obviously a thing, I mean, like getting battered off of Celtic, and then he comes in and like just a massive amount of the sign. As I said, when Pedro Caixinha signed and he did all the whole things with the stats and all that, everyone was like, oh, but just with Gerrard, we talked about, you get a different feeling in his stomach about it, and let's go, and if these blasting, what's it, Neil and Calvin Harris in it, do you know what I mean? It was, aye, so no, it's definitely been special. I'd say probably away at Celtic Park and some of the European nights, man, and just but the pride he's brought back to the club, mate. I'd say I'm forever thankful to him. As I say, for me and you, this is something that it's going to be we'll talk about for the rest of life. Obviously, this title, because it is special. So I definitely, for me, mate, just the pride and everything he's brought back to the club.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more. Obviously, with the number one being that Celtic Park one as well. I mean, the emotion pulling out of him there, just that's what I has felt after that result. It was a long time since we've won at Celtic Park, but aye, I feel sort of the same way. Just thanks to Steven Gerrard for putting us back on the map again, making us the dominant force in Scottish football and Europe as well. We're really good as well with him. So, aye.
I just really, that's what I want about with the Celtic one, especially because you think about the batterings we got there, man. Like some of them were just brutal, man. Like honestly, and just
Some of
to
them we
win
didn't
that.
even have a shot on target or anything. We didn't even have a shot on goal.
I know, man. That's what I'm on about. So that emotion that he showed that after the end of that game, he's just saying it was always. And as you say, like the Praga games, like the European nights have been so special as well. So I just in terms of that, like we're actually starting to be a force again in Europe, which is just it's fantastic.
Aye, 100%. And too many more years, as I said, for Steven Gerrard.
Oh,
Hopefully he's here for a few more. And because he's still only 40 odd, so a few more years, Stevie, and then you can think about other things. But the next segment is transfer rumours. What has Steven Gerrard been doing in the back? Well, he's been winning us the league. He's been bringing in a new signing. That man is Fashion Sakala. What a name, by the way. I've just got to put that out there. What a name. Fashion Sakala. He signs from KV Oostende in the Belgian Pro League. It's not the first time we've obviously signed MD for there. Roof came for Anderlecht. Hadji came for Genk. So we've got a wee connection with the league. And another one joins. He's a Zambian international as well. And he's 24-year-old. He plays across the front three, so he's not necessarily an out-and-out striker. He can play in the left or the right as well. And he looks very fast, very powerful. Looks like somebody who we're going to hopefully get the best out of, make him into a better player. And I feel like Steven Gerrard, and under the management we've got here and the coaches and stuff like that, we're going to be able to see the best of this guy. Watched a few YouTube highlights, as you always do.
What to say.
Seen a few of his goals. He was playing for Zambia. Obviously, they're not notoriously a great international side of that, but he was playing, must have been a few years ago now, for Zambia against Italy and Germany under 20s, and he grabbed a goal against each. So something to note there. He scored about 15 goals this season for Oostende in the Belgian Pro League. They won 6-2 against Standard Liège as well at the weekend where he was playing. So I like the signing. I like how we're getting business done like before the season's even done. I like how Scott Wright, Simpson came in early, just to sort of get their head in the place, get ready for next season. I like how we've got Obor and Sakala already lined up to come in straight away in the summer. So it's nice to see that we're actually going to be building again for bigger challenges next season. And what do you think about this signing? Are you excited by it?
Well, I'll also have to do what you've done, mate, and get the YouTube highlights on, as everyone does. But no, I'm excited, as you say. Also, the positions can play anywhere in the front three, which is good. I just like the fact that he's going to continue to add, because competition's massive, and if you're one of the front three at the moment, you've got to be thinking, right, I need to be on my game every training session, every game, because competition is massive. If we want to win trophies, as I said, as Gerrard said in the BT interviews, I keep bringing up, although your teammates, you want to move them out of the way and you want to solidify that position as yours. So I like that it keeps adding, and that's the main thing, is we keep adding, and hopefully more trophies follow when these players come in. I'm excited to see what this guy's about. Obviously started following him on the socials, as everyone does, straight away. So no, I'm excited for the players coming in, mate. And as you say, it seems like we've got a lot of, well, the scouting is definitely targeting the Belgian league. So there's obviously seems like there's some good wee talented players over in that league, mate. So keep adding them.
Exactly.
Bring some of the food over in Norway. Let's get some of the Belgian waffles and
aye, exactly. Get them some in my way. But in terms of Belgian players, away for the food, the Yanis Hadji obviously has been a good signing so far. The assists speak for themselves. They get another one at the weekend for Defoe, which I actually forgot to mention. I feel like a lot of people missed that out. I watched the goal back a lot of times. Such a clever pass to get Defoe in. It's not an easy pass, and that gets him, I think, he's got over 10 assists in the league this season. He's added a few goals to that as well, obviously, in the second half of the season when he was coming back into the side a bit more. So he's been a good acquisition. Roof, obviously great. 16 goals. Scored probably the best goal I've ever seen in my life against Standard Liège in Belgium.
I honestly, mate, I see when they showed that thing, there's like 16 goals. What? It feels like he's been injured for like large part of it, and he's still got that. So that's, as I say, credit to him. Defoe, and the thing for me with Hadji is, even people have been criticising him. For me, I still backed him. I still believed in him. I do think he's a special player, and I wouldn't want to lose him this summer, to be honest. I wouldn't want to lose a player that has talent this summer. I feel like he has many more years to offer this club, and for me, I wouldn't want to lose him. I don't know about yourself, mate, but for me, I just don't want to lose him. I think he's a special player.
I think he's a very special player as well, and that's Hadji's been targeted by Sevilla as well, which is the next sort of rumour. Sakala, obviously, we're really excited about that. Excited to get announcements in May about new signings. So Hadji is the next one. I seen this last week. He was targeted by Sevilla and been watched by clubs in that calibre. Lazio's obviously come up a few times as well. So it just shows the kind of player that Hadji is, and hopefully he'll become in the next few years, hopefully when he keeps developing with us, because I feel like he's going to be a special player, as you say, and he's just going to keep improving. This season's been great for him so far. Get a league title under his belt at a young age, and he's been able to sort of get all the assists, and he's got a few goals as well and stuff like that. So I hope he stays. What's your opinion on him, maybe Sevilla and stuff like that?
I will listen. Obviously, they have the same thing. Well, I don't know about Lazio if they're going to be in Europe, but I know Sevilla are going to be Champions League, so they have that to offer as well, same as us, hopefully, if we get in there. But I just feel like, I remember reading that he said that his dad said to him that money is nothing. The trophies and the memories are the things that you'll appreciate most. And I hope he'll think about that if the offer does come in, maybe for one of the clubs, if he thinks about, no, listen, I could stay here. He said it, Ibrox baby, we're special. So let's not be leaving for a couple of seasons, Giannis. And then I'll do the Vince McMahon thing, mate, and say when the right price comes in, then you can go. But I just hope he doesn't leave, mate. As I say, he's a special player. And as I said, with Kemar Roof, I can't believe that, like how many goals he's got this season. And it feels like he's been injured for a large part of it. But that, as I say, just credit to Kemar, just what a player he is and all.
Exactly. And we're hoping Hadji obviously stays, fends off any interest. It's going to be hard though. I feel like he's going to be a player that's going to be under a lot of scouting. He's at that age where people look at him and try to bring him in cheap and then hopefully sell one. But I want Rangers to be able to do that in the future, because so I think finally on Hadji, he's a player that both of us really admire, want to see improve at the club, as I said, and hopefully fend off any interest in the summer. Keep him here, at least for another season anyway. get my crack at the Champions League and stuff. So looking forward to what Haji's got to bring next season. The next one, Zungu. We've talked about him a lot, not very positively in the channel, but he's going to be returning to Amiens after his loan deal. So after the next 2 games, although he won't play, Rangers have decided not to make that deal permanent. So he's going to be going. It's just not worked out for him at all. And then the whole COVID scandal's really just probably one of the ones Gerrard has got wrong. But I don't know what much else to say about Zungu.
Listen, I said to you, it was the exact same one as Akio Bally Boy, or whatever his name was. Forgot his name. But he brought him in and he said it was the exact same as him. Not harsh against the guy, you know what I mean? I do feel that people were a bit too critical of him when he did play, you know what I mean? It wasn't his fault when the rest of the team weren't having a best game and maybe he wasn't playing as best as he could, but I think definitely he came over here for a party, mate, I'll be honest. He came over here for a party. He wanted one of these hats. We'll give him one of these and we'll give him a wee souvenir and we'll let him go on his way and spread the love about Rangers. But that's about it for Zungu.
Nah, it's about it. I'll agree with you on that statement. I will always say that. He never, if he played in a game we actually played well as a team, I feel it would feel a lot different about him as a fan base, but it never happened and it's never going to happen anymore. So Zungu leaves with our best wishes, no hard feelings at all, but it just didn't work out. So for the main part of the episode now, the transfer news is done for this week. But the SPFL team of the season, it's hard not to pick a full Rangers team, as I said. It was really hard to pick this. I've got 9 Rangers players in it. No, 9. Sorry, I can't even count. I've got 7 Rangers players. The 4 are extras. So if you're ready, we can go and see how we feel for each position. Goalkeeper, Al McGregor.
There's no debating it, is there?
There's obviously no debating it at all, but if you were looking at it, like you had to pick one player for each team. Benjamin Siegrist has been good for Dundee United. He played well when we played them, and he's played well against Celtic and stuff like that throughout the season. So he's maybe close, but nobody beats Al McGregor this season. If it's second in fiddles, John McLaughlin really in it.
Well, just before we actually go forth into it, obviously McGregor for me, nobody touches him. But I'll be honest, I've only watched these teams obviously when they've played against us. I can't really full hang with that a player's been this or that. I do agree with that Dundee keeper. Obviously, I did watch him when they played Celtic, and he was fantastic. Seemed like he was saving everything. But definitely John McLaughlin for me, just another player that's gone under the radar. It seems he's played fantastic when he's played. The amount of clean sheets he's kept. So definitely John McLaughlin.
Nah, John McLaughlin, Siegrist, but Al McGregor, 100%. The clean sheets, the saves, and the old firm games and stuff like that, penalties. I mean, he's been amazing this season, obviously. 1 year extension onto that as well. So hopefully more of the same for Al McGregor. I'm glad we agree on that because I feel there was nobody that came close to that one. Right back, James Tavernier again, and really nobody else. Tavernier's goals speak for themselves. Assists, captain of Rangers, captain of winning the league and stuff like that. Although he's been injured again, Patterson's been great in his absence. Can't think of many other right backs. John Joe Kenny for Celtic's been absolutely fucking woeful, so it's definitely no him. But I can't think of any other really decent right backs. Sean Rooney's been good, obviously, for St Johnstone and stuff like that. But
so it's been good, but I found out obviously he supports the other half, doesn't he? So
aye,
I'm watching him.
Seen that as well.
I'll be keeping a close eye on him. No.
But I'm guessing you're Tavernier as well.
100%. For me, it's the whole Rangers backline. For me, there's not one that touches that whole backline for me.
I've got a surprise there for you because I've got somebody different at left back, but we'll get on to that. Tavernier, obviously, we can't speak highly enough of him. He's been outstanding this season, just took his game up to a new level, and shown why he is the captain of the football club. Centre backs then, obviously, Goldson, Hollander, as we've said, for Rangers. Goldson is hands down probably the best player in the league this season for me. He's been unbelievable. And with Philip Hollander next to him, he's been sensational. Hollander's still not lost a league game. Goldson has rarely lost any goals in the league for Rangers this season. And we're just so solid at the back with Goldson, Hollander. Whoever plays next to him, Simpson at the weekend, but he even looked all right. So I think Goldson has been amazing this season. Hollander as well. What's your thoughts?
I agree with you, mate. As I say, hands down. I don't know. Obviously, people will make cases for Steven Davis and all that, but for me, it's Connor Goldson all day long. To say, just solid every time you say it, mate. With that big start with Big Phil Hollander. So Bambi, nice as I call him, that's the name I gave him. It'll stick with him. But as I say, nobody for me comes close to these two. They've just been solid. Even when Gerrard's maybe rotated it and partnered somebody else with Goldson, it's been solid. So for me, it's those two definitely.
And if you look at some other team centre halves, like I've seen a few people putting Christopher Ayer in, but Celtic's defence is shocking. You can't have any Celtic defender in it for me. I've seen Jason Kerr facing Johnston in it. Ryan Porteous, I don't rate him at all.
Don't want to hear it. What does he do? Apart from try and wind up Morelos and I'll try and be like Scott Brown in this. Do you know what I mean? You do nothing, mate. I can't rate that boy at all. Do you know what I mean? The only reason he's going with Scotland to the Euros is to clean the toilets. Do you know what I mean? So I'll be honest with you, I don't rate that lad at all.
Nah, I don't rate him myself, but they were the couple I seen mentioned. But nobody again touches Connor Goldson, Philip Hollander. I'm not trying to be biased. I'm not trying to be biased here. It's literally, I would pick Celtic players if I were better than Rangers players, but it's just for the fact nobody has been this season better than that. Two central defenders, but left back, you've obviously got Borna Barisic.
As much as I don't love Barisic, I've got to say I don't think anybody's touched his boots. As I say, mate, I'm only going off what I've seen, and I only watch my club. I don't sit and watch any other team. So for me, it's been Barisic all season.
Barisic, obviously, great delivery, great attacking fullback. He's been questioned for his defensive ability sometimes, but.
This again, chat? No, as
a whole, he's been really good this season. But there's somebody who pips him for me. I feel with Barisic, I wanted to include somebody else in there. So I've put Josh Deutsch for Hibs, and I feel he's a really promising left back. I feel he's on the radar of a lot of Premier League clubs. He's performed really well anytime I've seen him against us this season. And I've just heard a lot of buzz about his name. He's nominated for Young Player of the Year in Scotland, so he looks probably to win that as well. So I feel like he's one to watch for the future. It's just a shame Scotland have that many good left backs that he probably won't feature anytime soon. But I feel like Josh Doig is definitely one to look at. One that gets in there for me. And he's looked really good anytime I've seen him. I think he deserves the buzz about him. I think he's been great. But obviously Barisic is really close to that.
Well, as I say, mate, I couldn't honestly say anything about the lad, but I'll definitely have to check him out. And if you're saying there's buzz about him, I'll get a wee buzz myself. It looks like the YouTube highlights probably.
The tried and trusted.
I think the thing for me with this is it's got to be the Rangers team for me, because just what we've done this season, and if we can go unbeaten, it's really special. Maybe if you do a team of the season without any Rangers players and you look at individuals for different teams, then it's going to be more hanging. Maybe that boy for St Johnston's in it, and as you say, the boy for Hibs. Like there's more people also who have had good seasons. It's just I think how excellent we've been this season. I don't think you can take away for anything that we've done and put MD in there for me. But cool. But as I'm saying, mate, I just think Barisic is it for me.
Aye, and I feel obviously a great choice being a Rangers fan, but I tried to include somebody in there. Josh Doig, I feel, has been really good this season, so I gave him a shout. So the first centre mid then, another Rangers man, Steven Davis, as you said, arguably could be up there for the player of the season. And what a player he's been this year. He's just took his game up to a whole new level at the age of 36, signed another contract extension. He's available every single week. At that age as well, with Ryan Jack and stuff like that. We're really bare in midfield at the moment, but he's always there. He's always putting in performances until the last minute as well. Run about the park like an absolute madman, and he scored an overhead kick in an Old Firm game. So Steven Davis he's right up there for me, next to Goldson for player of the season. But who's your first centre mid?
It's the exact same, mate. Steven Davis, as I say, just the quality at his age. Certainly proved me and you wrong at the start of the season. Obviously, I think he was listening to that episode, Jack. That's why I think he's
definitely was.
But I think about just even when there's been international breaks, he's played for Northern Ireland and then came straight back and played a full 90 for Rangers. And as we're saying, at the age to do that kind of thing, man, it's just, to me, it's remarkable, and I take my hats off to him.
You literally take your hat off him.
Exactly. But no, what a quality player, man. And another year as well, so it's fantastic.
Now, you can't speak highly enough of Stephen Davis, as you said. He broke the record, most appearances for your country by somebody for the UK or something like UK record. So, special achievement for him to do that as well. And you just can't speak highly enough of the guy. He's sensational from top to bottom. So my next centre mid then, I could have went. It's a different player. I could have went with Lewis Ferguson. I was tempted. For Aberdeen, he's had a decent season. But I've went with Jamie McGrath. I've went for the man for St Mirren, who put us out the cup, obviously. But I feel he's, every time we've played St Mirren as well, every time I've seen St Mirren, he's been the one I've looked at. And he provides goals, he provides assists. He's a threat for the midfield. 24 years old as well, as I've seen. So he's got plenty of years ahead of him to improve, and I think he might move on for St Mirren in the summer. I feel like a team will come calling for him, because every time I've seen him, he's looked really good. He's comfortable for the penalty spot. He scored a great goal the other week there against, I can't remember who it was, somebody in the bottom half when I was watching highlights. Scored a great goal there. But he's just a goal-scoring midfielder, and I just like what I see for McGrath, so I've put him in there.
Oh, fair play. I think I seen that St Mirren's manager, what's his name, Jim Hingme or whatever his name is, he was saying to like, Celtic should go for him or something. I don't know why you're saying that about your own player. Maybe you should try and keep him instead of encouraging him on a move. But I don't want to think about the putting us out the cup, mate. But,
no.
For me, I've just went for good old Glenn. I just think Glenn's been solid. As I say, mate, the whole team's been solid. I just put Glenn in there. I just think he's had a solid season. Again, I think everyone's more aware of him than they were beforehand, because the performances before, as I say, it was just silent. And then you would hear the other ones maybe say, oh, Glenn had a hanging performance. Now we're all noticing it. So for me, it's got to be Glenn. And the things that he's had to put up, obviously, in the later half of the season, and he still play. All right, they weren't the best performances, but I just commend him. I think what a guy. Just a tremendous guy. And as we say, the price we got him for, to be the player he is, and international as well. He's going to be big in the summer, so it's going to be massive to also try and keep a hold of Glenn. But for me, it's Glenn. Glenn's in there. He's got to be in there, Jacko.
Yeah, that's my next one, actually. Glenn Kamara. I feel just he's took his game onto another level completely again, as you say, with the issues towards him at the end of the season. It's been hard for him to deal with, but he's come back stronger. He stayed in the team. He's always been consistent. I've never seen him really have a bad game at all. And he's key to the way we work in midfield. I feel without Glenn Kamara, we don't operate the same way. And he's just, as I said, 50 grand. He just took his game to a new level completely this year. We'll see him in the Euros, which I'm looking forward to with Finland. We'll get a lot of eyes on him again. And I'm just happy with the season Glenn Kamara's had. I'd like for him to score more goals, but he's not that kind of player, I guess. I remember that one he scored against Benfica. It was a screamer, but Glenn Kamara has to be in there for me as well. And then your final midfielder then?
It's got to be Joe.
Joe Aribo.
Joe. I've got to do it for Santan as well, you know. But no, for me it's Joe. Just what a football. Again, Undertaker style hat off. Because Joe is top dollar. As I say, mate, can play anywhere, and the performances you put in midfield, I think about, the Dundee game and some of his performances this season, I just think he's been outstanding. As I say, you're probably what are you going for? What you going to put Lewis Ferguson in there? You going for Joe?
No, that is my three midfielders. I've just put Davis, McGrath, and Kamara. I've got three attackers ahead of that. So,
aye, well, listen, mate, mine's are all. As I say, mate, I've just put the full Rangers team. I feel like I'm doing a lineup for a game here, but no, mate, mine's is definitely just the full Rangers midfield.
I feel Aribo definitely in with a shout there as well. Could put him anywhere. Put him at left back. Put him at right wing. Put him fucking anywhere. Aribo plays great anywhere in the park. Just the kind of player you want to have on your side, and highlight a few performances for him. I remember one against Dundee United at home where he just took the game by the scruff of the neck and was outstanding. Celtic in the cup. There's been games where he's just made it his own, and I'm happy for Joe.
Even the weekend, man. Even at the weekend, I thought he was great as well. Him and Kent. I love watching the two link up and play the 1-2s, and just fantastic, man.
Nah, two of them linking up at the weekend was great. And hopefully more to come for Joe Aribo. I think he's going to have a lot more eyes on him again in the summer. So fingers crossed we keep a hold of him. It's going to be a tough one though, because I feel like he's going to be really sought after. But that's him. I feel like another couple of midfielders that could be in there. I've David Turnbull obviously came into the Celtic team at the very end of the season. I feel like he looks a good player every time I see him, but maybe just too late for him to be included. Lewis Ferguson, as I said, Ali McCann for St Johnstone. I feel like he's going to be the next sort of step up for Stephen Davis in the Northern Ireland setup. I feel like he's the newcomer to that.
What about the boy that's linked with Spurs? Who's that guy that's linked with Spurs and he's
It's Myla Sorrow.
Oh, that boy. He's supposed to be
I'm
dangerous.
still waiting for him to come into the Celtic team. I'll tell you, Sorrow and Turnbull, when they come into the Celtic team, Rangers won't be able to cope. But I feel with a couple, Ali McCann, as I said, really good every time I've seen him as well. And I just feel the league has got a lot of good players in it this season for a lot of different teams. And it's something I'm here for. I like looking at other teams as well, apart from Rangers. But it's just really hard to be able to narrow anybody down. But I've put that midfield in anyway. I respect you obviously for putting your Rangers men in, and of course you can't nut it at times. But we'll move on to the front three. My first one is going to be Ryan Kent. I feel like Ryan Kent, again, another one like we're going to be saying for every Rangers player, he's took his game up to a new level. I remember the start of the season he had where he was literally unplayable. Nobody could get near him. Goals and assists every game. Went off a boil a bit, but he was still producing. At times there was redone reactions and stuff like that, where they were wanting him out of the team on the bench and stuff like that. But looking at the season as a whole, he's getting double figures for assists and goals. Which for a winger is really special. And as we spoke about at the start of the video, he's got a lot of eyes on him again for England and going down to the Premier League and stuff like that, these performances. So I feel like this team couldn't happen without having Ryan Kent in it.
100% agree with you, mate. As I say, if you want to know how, as we say, importantly, as you look at the Celtic performances and the fact that I've never seen for me is growing up, like I've never seen a player that when he's on the ball and playing against Celtic, they all just don't want him to run at him. Like they're just shitting their britches, man. But for me, it's just been sensational. As you say, he did go off the thing about me, did that sort of hang me to get him out of the team just to maybe give him that break and freshen him up because he was going so hard, mate. He was performing. He knew what he was doing. So for me, definitely in there. No questions.
Nah, and you think about the goal he scored against Hibs a few weeks ago, sensational. You think about some of the other goals he scored this season, the one against Dundee United where he just had the guy on skates and he went round them right into the bottom corner. Scored many good goals this season, set up a lot of goals as well. Scored the first goal of this legendary season as well against Aberdeen. So, Ryan Kent has to be in there for me as well. My next attacker is Odsonne Edouard. I don't want to be saying that name, but I feel that with his goals this season, he's been the only player I've seen at Celtic that's actually looked a threat anywhere. Like, they've been so bad this season. Obviously, I'm loving it, but looking at Edouard, I always feel he's a threat. He scored again at the weekend against us. But he's got 21, 22 goals this season as a whole. And that Celtic team for me is impressive to be able to get that sort of numbers. He's a top scorer on the Premiership as well. So I've put him in there. And I think the less said about Celtic players, the better. But I feel Odsonne Edouard, just for his goals and stuff like that, and the way he can perform in that Celtic team for me, gets him a spot.
For me, mate, I do have to agree with you there. I just feel like, as you're saying, the abuse I feel like he's took for pundits and just fans in general this season about he's not played this well, he's not done this or that, and if he's still at the top of the board, putting the goals in the net in a dreadful Celtic team, let's be honest, and how their season's turned out, then he does deserve his place in there. So for that, son, you have changed my mind and I'll put him in there.
Right. So who was in that before Edward then? Who was your other attacker?
Is that even a question, Jack?
Is that even a question?
It was this guy.
I forgot about it.
You've got us pulling a Fredo. But this guy, no, I'm only joking. No, I put Edward in there, mate. Of course, he's got to be in there. But I will move on to my next one, which is no question as well. It's a sensational man. It's got to be. You changed my mind with Edward, taking me out of it and putting Edward in it, but it's got to be Alfredo Morelos. Honestly, I don't know how to describe this guy. It's unbelievable. You're going to make me cry here, Jack, to be honest, because he's special. And the fact that he's got his 2 goals against Celtic this season, put it through Brown's legs. I'll watch it again the night before I go to sleep. Is beautiful, mate. It's got to be. Come on, Alfredo's there.
He's took his game to a completely new level this season. He's improved a lot. At the start of the season, he wasn't really up to much because there was talk about his future and stuff moving on. But when he actually got knuckled down, had chats with Gerrard and stuff like that, he really came into his own. The goals weren't there all season as they have been for the seasons past, but this season he's took his game to a whole new level, and he's not relied on goals. We've not relied on Morelos all the time, but he's scored in big moments. Scored against Livingston to put us in touching distance to the title. He scored against St Mirren that day where we had to win to get it over the line. He scored against Celtic twice. He scored two against was Aberdeen. Aberdeen scored against Hibs. I mean, I can see he tearing up here, but he's been sensational this season. But he would be in there. But I've talked about this guy for the start of the season. For me, I put him in my top 11 best transfers. Although he hasn't been great the second half of the season, I feel he's been just a breath of fresh air to the Scottish game. It's Kevin Nisbet for me. I feel like he's a great talent, somebody I really rate highly. I feel he's been great this season with the amount of numbers he gets for Hibs. Scored against Rangers recently. Scored against Celtic. I think he scored against pretty much the majority of the clubs. He's got his Scotland call-up and stuff like that. Just somebody I rate very highly. I've had my on all season, and he looks to be a really good player coming on to definitely signs are there for this season anyway, but it was close with him, Morelos, Roof even.
No. What are you smoking? You've put Nisbet and Edward in there before Alfredo Morelos. Come on, son.
I'm trying to include different people.
No, I don't care about different fan bases, mate. It's the full Rangers team. I'm taking Edward out there. I only put him in because you convinced me. I'm sorry, it was Kemar Roof that's in there, son. All right, Kemar's been excellent. All the injuries, you want to talk about a player who's had a hanging season, all the injuries he's had to do to still have the many goals as he's got this season. I don't even know what's that, 18 goals? He's got 18 goals, mate, or what have you. He's been fantastic. He pipped me. He just beat me for the position. But no, I can't believe you put Nisbet and Edward in there before Alfredo. This is Alfredo, Jack. What are you?
I know. I'm just looking at it at a different perspective. Morelos, he's first on the bench, but
he's first on the bench.
He's first on the bench.
Team sheet. You're on about first on the bench,
right? Well, I don't think you might have convinced me to put him in, but I feel Kevin Nisbet and Edward were worth a mention, definitely, because they've been good this season. But then you look at their goals compared to Morelos, stuff like that. I'll leave it up to whoever watches it.
He's not in it. It's Alfredo. Put that Edward out and all. He's leaving. Fantastic player, but he's going. I'm sorry, it's got to be Morelos enough for me. I can't. Kevin Nisbet.
I respect you. I respect your opinion, and I just hope you can respect mine as well.
No, I respect him, mate. I'm not having a bit of banter here, but come on, seriously, Alfredo.
I just feel he's been good this season. Definitely he's took his game up to a new level in the sense of he's not scoring many goals, but I feel as a striker scoring goals, Nisbet for me has done it all season.
No, I can respect that. I can agree with us. And look, Nisbet's probably had a fantastic season. For me, he does deserve to be in the Scotland team. Obviously, he's got Che Adams now to compete with to get a sort of first start or what have you. But I would do agree with some of the players you've said out there, mate. I'm only a bit of bants here.
I just tried to mix up. I thought you were going to go for the full Rangers side.
I could agree there. And listen, if we were to do one without the Rangers team in there, I think you would look at probably like, say, maybe Ross McCrory, Ferguson, Turnbull, all those guys who have done really well this season. I think players like Edward and Turnbull do need to be hanging because that Celtic team's bad, man. The two of them have seemed to be the two star hanging. Hopefully Turnbull does get in the team. Hopefully Patterson gets in the team in the summer for Scotland. We have to have those in there for me. It's not about Rangers or Celtic this thing, mate. It's about Scotland, and if we can do well in this tournament, I want the win against England. That's all I'm asking for. You can go out the group stage, but just beat England. That's all I'm asking for. Shut them up. They talk about the leagues, this and that. The league's nothing. They're talking about our league's a dud league. I'm sorry, but we've just named some young, high, talented players. As I say, there's talent coming through. They've rated it. Billy Gilmore, Chelsea are praising and hanging. Where do you think Billy Gilmore came from? Us. All right, exactly. You took him. If Gerrard was still the manager, when he came Hangmead, he'd still be here. He'd still be playing for Rangers. But no, mate, I just think the talent up here is fantastic, and it's positive. It's great to see young Scottish footballers finally making an impact, because there was a couple of years there, obviously, where there was nothing coming out here. And it seems like back in the day where English teams would scout and just take the players up here. So on that front, it's good. But come on, Jack, Alfredo's not in your team.
I know, it's controversial, but that's the team of the season that I've picked.
What about the Pigeons?
The Pigeons at left back, aye.
Barisic anyway, probably could defend.
But that's my team. That your team's a full Rangers team. I don't feel that you could you're biased to it. Like Rangers have been the best team in the league this season. There's no doubt about it. I just tried to include a bit more to sort of explore a few more options and stuff like that. But I enjoyed the team. Let us know your thoughts about who should be in the team. Obviously, Rangers fans are going to be watching this, but if there's anybody else you've seen this season, it's caught the eye. Let us know on Twitter or in the description below. And that's the podcast.
Whoa.
Apart from what you want to say,
I just want to talk about two things before we go. Quickly, just off the hang me. The night, who you got? Who you backing the night?
PSG.
PSG, you think they'll do it? Since Sir Alex Ferguson was giving them a wee speech. And lastly, I just wanted to get your thoughts on Josie going to Rome. I feel it's a perfect fit for him.
He's going to go there for 18 months. He's going to get sacked and he's going to come out with another big paycheck, so it's fine.
I agree with the paycheck and all that, right? But I do feel people are disrespecting Josie here. Come on, look what the man's won. You know what I mean? Like, look what the man's won. He put his reputation on the line to go to Spurs. Probably shouldn't have done that, obviously, how thing is for Chelsea and that. But I do feel, I don't know, maybe TalkSport was probably but he's signing for there. But
I seen he was on.
I feel it's a good wee club for him. I don't see him getting a big Real Madrid or that kind of job ever again. I do feel like it's probably your mid-table teams or your teams.
Still a really good job for him to get so soon after the disappointment at Spurs. Roma's a really good job.
But if you watched them play against Man United, mate, they were non-existent. You know what I mean?
Man United battered them, didn't they?
Smashed them, didn't they? I'm going to go and watch this game now anyway, mate. And
I
always thank the people for watching the podcast or listening to the podcast. We do appreciate it. Make sure to tell Jack why is he not get a Fred on his team. It's only banter, but I do respect your opinion, obviously. Let's all be kind and considerate here, but at the end of the day, it's Jack's opinion. I just don't agree.
I echo your message there. Cheers for liking the videos, watching the videos and stuff like that. It's really appreciated. 40 episodes deep into the podcast now. We've got a few more left to cover in this season anyway. No game at the weekend, so it'll be next Tuesday. We'll be back on podcast duty and we'll see you for that one. Cheers.